Alright guys, I honestly feel like my entire life's been a bad script someone forgot to edit. Like, imagine opening a family photo album and realizing you're barely in it. Well, that's been my reality. But let me back up. So I was raised by my aunt, that's the first thing you need to know. And growing up, I thought it was just because my parents were young and broke, or maybe they had some kind of job overseas. Like, I made up excuses in my head constantly because no one ever actually explained anything to me. I used to tell my friends, yeah, my parents are working abroad, but I live with my aunt for now. Like it was temporary. Like they'd come back one day and I'd finally get to live with them and everything would make sense. Spoiler, they never did. My aunt never talked about them much. Anytime I asked, she'd just say, they're doing what they think is best. Which, what does that even mean? What parent abandons their kid and gets credited for doing what's best? But when you're 7, 8, 9, like you don't question that too hard. You can't afford to. I just wanted to believe I was still wanted. Then came birthdays, holidays, the usual days when kids get all hyped because family comes together. Except mine didn't. There were no calls, no cards, no random surprise, sorry we missed it, gifts in the mail. Like absolutely nothing. And when I really started noticing was around age 12 when every other girl in my class had their mom help them get ready for dances or do their hair or talk about crushes. I remember sitting in my room with YouTube tutorials open, burning the crap out of my forehead with a curling iron just thinking, where are they? I started to get bitter, angry, confused. Because again, no answers. And every time I asked my aunt, she'd just say the same thing. They're not ready. So I waited, and waited, until one day I stopped. Cut to this year. I'm 24 now, living on my own. Got my own place, steady job, working in design. I'm good. Or at least I was trying to be. And then it happened. My cousin Mia randomly sent me a text one night that just said, hey, is this your mom? With a link. And I swear to you, I almost dropped my phone because it was her, my mom, on Facebook, smiling in a new profile pic with some Pinterest-looking backyard behind her. My heart was pounding so loud I swear I could hear it echo. She had this perfect, cozy-looking family plastered all over her timeline. Husband, 2 kids, suburban house, matching Christmas pajamas, the works. And there I was, nowhere, no sign of me, not even a hint I ever existed. Like, I'm not even trying to be dramatic, but imagine seeing the woman who gave birth to you just living her Pinterest board life like you never even happened. Like I was some deleted draft that didn't fit the aesthetic. So what did I do? Exactly what you'd expect from someone emotionally unstable at midnight, I messaged her. Just, hey, it's me. Do you remember me? I didn't expect a reply. Not a fast one anyway. But 20 minutes later, she responded. All she said was, of course I remember you. This must be confusing. Can we talk? And that was it. No, hi sweetheart. No, oh my gosh, no emotion. Just calm, cold words on a screen like we were coworkers from another office or something. But I said yes because after all these years, I needed answers. We met up 2 days later at a cafe halfway between our cities. I almost didn't go, but my therapist, shout out to Marcy, love you girl, said it might bring closure. If only we knew. When I walked in and saw her, I almost didn't recognize her. She looked exactly like me, but older. Same hair, same face shape, same little nose wrinkle when she frowned. It was jarring, like looking at a future I didn't get to have. She stood, hugged me, said my name. And y'all, it was the weirdest hug I've ever had. Like hugging a stranger who knows your scent. We sat down, and for a minute it was silent. Then she said, I'm glad you're okay. You look healthy. Healthy? Okay. I asked the only thing I could, which is why. She sighed, looked down at her hands, and then dropped the line that would stick in my brain like glue for the rest of the week. You weren't in our plans. Like, I'm being for real, that's exactly what she said. Word for word. You weren't in our plans. Like I was a dinner reservation or a sudden rainstorm, not a whole human being. Not her daughter. And she just kept talking, as if that sentence wasn't the most messed up thing I'd ever heard in my life. She said she and my dad were barely 21. They were still in school. They had dreams, ambitions, and I was an interruption they didn't know how to handle. So they made a decision. Yeah, that was the next phrase that made me want to flip the whole table. We made a decision to give you a more stable upbringing with your aunt, I literally said. So you just handed me off like a group project you didn't want to finish? And then came the kicker. She said, you don't know the whole story. Oh, here we go, girl. Because now it wasn't enough that they abandoned me. Like there's a story that could justify all the birthdays, school events, and sick days they missed. I asked her, then tell me. What don't I know? And girl, that's when it got worse. So yeah, I'm sitting across from the woman who birthed me, who dropped the you weren't in our plans bomb like it was just a little oopsie. And now she's got the nerve to say, you don't know the whole story. Girl, at this point I was like, what more is there? You dipped. Never came back. Never called. What story could possibly make that okay? She said it started before I was born. Back when she and my dad were still together, still trying to figure life out. My mom got pregnant unexpectedly, and apparently my dad flipped. Like fully lost it. He told her he wasn't ready, that having a kid would ruin their lives. That they would be trapped. She said she wanted to keep me, but the pressure from everyone. His family, her parents, even their friends, was intense. Everyone was like, you're too young. You're not ready. You'll resent her. like I was a burden before I'd even arrived. But she pushed back, said she was gonna try. That's when my aunt, the one who raised me, stepped in. She offered to take me. I didn't even know this part, I just thought my aunt was told to raise me. But no, apparently she volunteered. She was older, already had a stable job, no kids, and always wanted to be a mom. So she said, let me raise her. You can visit, you can be involved, but she'll have stability. Except that visiting and being involved part? Yeah, that never happened. I asked her why. Like, why couldn't you even send a card? An email, I don't know, something? And y'all, she looked me in the eye and said, it hurt too much. Every time I thought about you, I broke down. I told myself staying away would help me move on. Oh no. No, no, no. Not the it hurt me too angle. Like, girl, you think it didn't hurt me? I was a child. Alone. Confused. Making up fake stories in my head just to feel normal at school. She kept going. Apparently, after she had my younger half-siblings, 2 kids with her now husband, she made the decision to start fresh. She told him about me, but they agreed not to involve me in their new life. Because get this, we didn't want to confuse them. Oh my gosh. I almost walked out right there. Like, confuse who exactly? Your other kids? The ones who get bedtime stories and family vacations while I'm trying to figure out how to even apply for college because no one ever taught me? She said, we always meant to tell them about you one day. When they were older. Cool, so I was a side quest or something. A hidden level in her parenting game. I asked about my dad, where was he in all this? She looked away. We don't speak anymore, he disappeared a few years after you were born. She said he got deep into drinking. Was constantly escaping responsibilities. Left town. She has no clue where he is now. I just stared at her. Like, okay, so I was unwanted and then the one person who might have been obligated to show up for me just vanished? So I said the thing I'd been choking on for the last 10 minutes. You guys didn't just abandon me. You erased me. She didn't deny it. She just whispered, I'm sorry. I know this is a lot. I didn't come here to excuse it, I just wanted you to hear it from me. And then she had the audacity to cry, like tears were going to cover up 24 years of nothing. I asked her straight up, why now? She said Mia, the cousin who sent me the link, told her I knew, that I saw her Facebook and that she needed to explain before I got the wrong idea. Girl, the wrong idea? As if any idea besides my parents didn't want me was on the table. And here's where it took a sharp left. I asked if her current husband, my half-sibling's dad, knew about our meeting. She paused, then shook her head. No, he doesn't know I messaged you. He doesn't really know who you are. I kept things vague. Huh? You're telling me I'm not just a secret from my siblings, I'm a secret from her husband too? I got up to leave. She asked me to wait. She said, I'd like to meet again. Maybe you could meet your siblings. They're good kids. And I looked at her and said, they might be, but you're not. Then I walked out. And that should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. 'Cause a week later I got curious. And what I found, yeah, let's just say, it unlocked the next level of betrayal. Okay, so a week goes by after that cafe meetup. I've been avoiding everything, her, my cousin, even my aunt. I just needed time to breathe without screaming. Like, my brain felt like a browser with 45 tabs open and all of them were frozen. But of course, I couldn't let it go. I kept thinking about that last thing she said. How her husband didn't know who I was and how my siblings didn't even know I existed. Like, that ate me alive. How do you build an entire life and just sweep your firstborn child under the rug like that? So yeah, curiosity got the best of me. I didn't want to interact with them. Not yet, but I needed to see what she was protecting so badly that she erased me for it. I started with the husband, let's call him Mark. His social media was locked down tight. Instagram private, Facebook inactive. But then I found his LinkedIn. Nothing special, works in tech, middle management, married to Carla, my mom. He lives in a leafy suburb just outside the city and boom, his wife's maiden name was never listed. Never. Y'all, she's not even going by her real last name anymore. I guess she took his and just wiped out every trace of who she was before. I know people change names after marriage, but this felt like something else. Like a full identity cleanse. Then I found her family blog. I'm not joking, a whole blog. Monthly updates about life with the twins, my half-siblings, cute little back-to-school photos, vacation posts from Disney, like you name it. And the whole time I'm scrolling, I'm just thinking how many people read this and thought, what a beautiful, perfect family. No one would ever guess she has a grown daughter she abandoned. So I kept digging. And that's when I found it. The Our Story section where she and Mark talk about how they met, how they built their family, and why family means everything. And what does it say? We met in 2001, fell in love fast, and started building our dream. We were both starting fresh, no baggage, just pure love. No baggage? Girl, I am the baggage. Reading that made me sick. Because suddenly, it wasn't just that she left me behind. It was that she pretended I was never even real. She built her whole perfect suburban mom brand on a lie. She edited me out of her life like I was a typo. And something inside me just snapped. I couldn't keep pretending that I was okay with this, that I could just move on and let her keep spinning this Pinterest perfect fantasy while I carry the weight of being her dirty little secret. So I made a choice. I called my aunt. It was the first time I'd really opened up to her since that cafe meeting. I told her everything. That I saw Mom, that she said I wasn't in their plans, that she never even told her new husband or kids about me, that she asked if I wanted to meet them like I was some long-lost cousin. and she said, I always hoped she'd grow up. I hoped one day she'd own what she did. I asked her, did you know she erased me? And she said something I didn't expect. I didn't know the extent, but I always feared it. Apparently my aunt tried, multiple times, to get my mom to be involved when I was younger. She sent letters, called, even tried to plan meetups. But my mom would always cancel last minute, say she wasn't ready, or that she didn't want to confuse her other life, so my aunt stopped trying. She said it was too painful watching me get disappointed every time. She thought she was protecting me by letting it all go. And I get it. I do. But I wish someone had told me sooner that this wasn't some sad misunderstanding, it was intentional. So now I had a decision to make. Do I let it go and protect her secret? Let her keep pretending her life is shiny and unbroken? Or do I expose her? 'Cause yeah, I could. I had screenshots, blog posts, photos, timeline receipts, her messages, the whole truth at the end of the day. And let me be clear, I wasn't looking for revenge. I didn't want to burn her life down just to watch it collapse. I just wanted accountability. I wanted her to feel what it's like to be erased, to have your truth ignored. So I did something calculated, and maybe a little bit petty. I found out something else in the process. She was about to launch a local parenting podcast with a sponsorship. And the pitch? Talking real about motherhood. Oh girl, I couldn't let that slide. So yeah, my mom, who hadn't even sent me a birthday text in 2 decades, was out here pitching herself as some real talk mom guru, launching a podcast about motherhood, sponsored, with a brand deal. And y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed, like out loud, because the irony, the pure comedy of it, girl, I was the first chapter of her motherhood journey, and she threw the book away before page 1, but apparently she was ready to talk about the struggles of raising twins, and how important it is to be an honest, present mom. Like, make it make sense. So here's what I did. I didn't go full scorched earth. I didn't post and expose or make a TikTok dragging her, though I thought about it. But I wanted something better, something quiet, smart, and surgical. So I made an anonymous account. I created a Reddit profile, picked a username that sounded totally neutral, something like Family Truth Drop or whatever, and I wrote a post. I didn't name her. I didn't even say what city we were in, but I laid out everything. My mom abandoned me when I was a baby, gave me to her sister, never contacted me, never sent a birthday card, nothing. She went on to have 2 more kids and built a new family. Didn't tell them about me. Now she's launching a podcast about motherhood, and she still hasn't apologized. The post blew up. Hundreds of comments. Thousands of upvotes. People were mad. Because the internet's full of armchair detectives and local gossip lurkers, a few pieced it together and started sharing clips from her podcast promo with the Reddit thread. Someone even found a Facebook parenting group where she'd posted about the launch. And that's when the comments started hitting her page. Just soft ones at first. Interesting how people can preach motherhood after ghosting their first kid. Is this the same woman from that Reddit post? I think we need to define what present mom actually means. Then came the emails. Apparently, the sponsor saw the thread. Someone sent it to them. And guess what? They pulled out. Her shiny little launch? Cancelled. The episode never even aired. The blog post she wrote hyping it up? Deleted. I just watched it burn. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't trying to destroy her, I was trying to interrupt the fantasy. And it worked. A week after that, I got a text. Blocked number. Just said, was it you? No name, but I knew exactly who it was. I didn't respond. Because what was I supposed to say? Hey, sorry your fake life crumbled, maybe don't lie about being a good mom next time? Nope. She can sit with that silence. But then, plot twist incoming, I get another message. From my aunt. She asked if I'd seen my mom lately. I told her no, not since the cafe. And she goes, she showed up here yesterday, crying, saying someone ruined her career and she doesn't know how to fix it. Career? Babe, it was a parenting podcast, not the freaking Oscars. Apparently, she's now spiraling. I told my aunt she feels hunted, like she's being punished for a mistake she made in her youth. And that told me everything I needed to know. Because to her, it's still just a mistake, a thing that happened to her. Not a choice she made. Not a daughter she abandoned. It's always about her. That was the final nail for me. I realized then, she wasn't sorry for what she did, she was sorry she got exposed. But if you thought the drama stopped there, oh no, babe. No. 'Cause someone else saw the Reddit post too. And they messaged me. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect either. I thought maybe a random person wanting to say, same thing happened to me, or someone asking if I needed a hug or whatever. But this message changed everything. The username wasn't familiar. The message just said, hey, I saw your post. I think I might be your brother. Not one of the twins. Someone else. My older brother. My first reaction was, what kind of messed up scam is this now? But the more I read, the more it started clicking. He said he was born before me. And get this, he was also raised by someone else. A family friend. He'd been told his parents were young and overwhelmed. Sound familiar? Different city, different state. No mention of my mom in his story, but the dates matched up. The ages. The vibe. He even described the same exact birthmark on his hand that I have. And I swear, I felt my stomach fall out of my body. Like, huh? I called my aunt. She picked up and before I could even say hi, I blurted out, did mom have another kid before me? Silence. Then she goes, "Who told you that?" Boom. That was all the answer I needed. Turns out, yeah, she did. My mom had her first kid at 18. Gave him up through a private arrangement with an old friend of the family. Never legally adopted, just handed off. Same way she handed me off. I was number 2 in the list of children she dropped like they were Netflix subscriptions she forgot she signed up for. Y'all, I couldn't breathe. Like, how many of us are there? Is this a pattern? I messaged the guy back. We talked. 4 hours. And what shook me most wasn't just the logistics or the receipts he brought to prove it. He had photos, y'all. Like, baby photos. It was the way he described his life. So many things mirrored mine. He said he always felt like something was missing, that no matter how good things looked on the outside, there was this ache he couldn't explain. Sound familiar? Yeah, because that was me. My whole childhood. That weird ache. That constant wondering, that quiet shame like you're the extra piece in a puzzle that never quite fit. We talked again the next day. And the next. And suddenly, it was like I had a sibling for real. One that wasn't being fed fairy tales and matching pajamas. He even said it, "I've always wanted a sister." I just sat there staring at the screen, blinking. Because it felt real, it didn't feel like a secret. Or a half-truth. Or something to be ashamed of. Felt like family. So here's what we did. We made a plan because now it wasn't just about me, it was about us. We weren't going to go public or do anything crazy yet, but we did want to confront her. Together. Because it was time someone made her look at the wreckage she left behind. So we set the date. 2 weeks from that call. And let me tell you, every day leading up to it felt like countdown music before a bomb drops. I didn't tell my aunt, I didn't tell Mia, I didn't even tell my therapist. Sorry, Marcy. This was between me, my brother, and the woman who discarded us both. And the moment we walked into that room, oh girl, you already know. She was shook. So the day finally came. Me and my brother, let's call him Julian, drove together. We'd agreed it had to be somewhere neutral, so we picked a quiet little diner off the highway. One of those places with retro booths and waitresses who call you Han. Nobody we knew would be there. No scene, just closure. Or at least that was the goal. Julian was calm. Very calm. He had this quiet kind of strength, like someone who's been let down enough times that nothing shocks him anymore. Me? I was shaking. I hadn't even finished my coffee that morning. I kept imagining every possible outcome, like, what if she denies everything? What if she pretends she doesn't know him? What if she runs? But we showed up, sat in a corner booth and waited. 10 minutes go by, then 15. And just when I'm starting to think she won't show, she walks in. And y'all, I swear, time stopped. She looked around, spotted me first, started walking over with that cautious smile she always used, like she wasn't sure which version of me she was getting that day. But then her eyes locked onto Julian, and her whole body froze like she saw a ghost. She stood there, just staring, and you could see it, her brain trying to compute, like she was doing the mental math in real time and all the numbers were turning into alarm bells. Julian stood up, didn't say a word, just nodded at her and slid into the booth. She followed, slowly, like every step was a tripwire. Then she sat down. And then finally, she whispered, "You brought him," like it was a threat, like we were the ones ambushing her. I leaned forward and said, "No, he brought himself," just like I did. She looked at me, then at him, then down at her hands, didn't even deny it, didn't say that's not true or I don't know who you are, just sat there, guilty. Julian spoke first. "I'm not here for apologies, I just want answers." Her eyes welled up, and I'll be real, I felt nothing. I was done giving free empathy to someone who never gave it back. She started talking, and y'all, the truth she dropped? It was worse than we thought. She told us she got pregnant with Julian at 18. It was a mess. Her parents lost it. Her boyfriend bailed. She was terrified. So a family friend, this older woman who was like a mentor, offered to help. Said she'd take the baby, raise him, give her a second chance. She agreed. Then came me. She said when she found out she was pregnant again, it was like her past was chasing her. She told my dad. He was angry, but told her to fix it, which she refused. So he left and she panicked. She said, "I couldn't be a single mom with 2 kids I wasn't ready for. I didn't know how." Julian interrupted her. He goes, "You could have figured it out. People do it every day." She nodded. And then she said, "I thought if I didn't see either of you, I could be someone else." That was the truth right there. She didn't want to face it. She wanted to erase it. She told us she built her life from scratch. That when she met her now husband, she made a conscious decision to leave everything behind. Never mentioned us. Never even hinted at us. Said she thought it was for the best. Julian goes, "For who?" And she didn't answer. I asked her, "What were you going to do? Just go your whole life hoping we'd never find you?" She looked at me, eyes red, voice cracking, and said, "I never thought you'd want to." Yeah, part of me didn't. I wanted to forget, but I couldn't. Julian just leaned back, let out this little half laugh, and goes, "I used to think I was the problem. Turns out you just didn't want the responsibility." She started crying, whispered, "I'm so sorry." And for the first time, I actually believed she meant it. But it didn't change anything. Because the damage? It was already done. You can't walk away from your kids and come back decades later expecting a reset button. So I told her, "We're not here so you can feel better." She nodded, wiped her face, said she understood. We sat there a few more minutes. Nobody touched their drinks. Then Julian stood up, looked at her one more time and said, "I hope you make peace with it, but we're not your secret anymore." And we walked out. So after we left that diner, me and Julian sat in the car for a long time. It was like both of us were holding the same weight our entire lives, and we didn't even realize how heavy it was until we finally set it down. I looked over at him and said, "So, what now?" He smiled a little, shrugged. "We live." And I swear I've never felt something hit that hard in so few words. 'Cause yeah, that's what we do now. We live. We're not waiting for apologies anymore. Not hoping someone's gonna do the right thing just because we held the door open for 2 decades. That chapter's done. We closed it ourselves. I didn't block my mom. I didn't scream at her. But I also didn't let her control the narrative anymore. And guess what? She's quiet now. The blog is on pause. Her Facebook's locked. Podcast? Still dead in the water. She's still with her husband, still playing house, but I think now she looks over her shoulder more, because she knows the past isn't gone. It's grown up and it's watching. As for Julian, he's a part of my life now. Like for real. We talk all the time. We even started this shared Google Photos album where we dump random childhood pics we find, and it's wild seeing our timelines side by side. Like 2 halves of the same story told in different languages. I finally told my aunt everything too, and she hugged me. Like hugged me. Not the "I'm trying to fix this" hug, but the "I'm so proud of you for surviving all of it" hug. She said, "You didn't just survive, baby. You broke the pattern." I don't know if I'll ever have a relationship with my half-siblings. Maybe one day, maybe never. That's their choice. I'm not here to blow up their lives the way mine got blown up. I just exist now, fully, without being anyone's hidden history. I've started journaling again, seeing my therapist regularly, watering my sad little plants, like actually showing up for myself for once. I'm not gonna lie, some days I still wonder what it would have been like to grow up in that house, to be in those family photos, to wear the matching holiday pajamas. But then I remember, even if I had been there, I still wouldn't have been seen. Because people like her, they don't want you. They want the version of you that doesn't require accountability. And I'm not that version. I'm the inconvenient truth, and I'm good with that. So yeah, if you're out there holding your breath for someone to come back and make it right, I see you. I really do. But maybe the power's already in your hands. You don't need them to say sorry to move on. Sometimes the real closure is choosing not to carry their silence anymore. Anyway, I'm off to water my sad plants, eat overpriced sushi with my very emotionally available brother, and maybe start writing a story of my own. Thanks for letting me vent. Y'all are the only reason I don't just scream into a mason jar at this point.